It was December the 26th, 1996, the day after Christmas, in an upscale home in Boulder, Colorado. A little girl's pageant crown gleamed on a dresser, her tiara still warm from the holiday. By the time detectives arrived, the house was full of relatives, media vans idling outside, and a single, bewildering piece of paper, a ransom note demanding $500,000. That note would define this case for decades. The girl's name was JonBenét Ramsey. She was 6 years old, and her death became one of America's most haunting mysteries, a puzzle of missing answers, competing theories, and a media storm that never let the story rest. Boulder in the 1990s was a prosperous college town where many families moved for its mountain views and good schools. The Ramsey family, John, an engineer at a tech company, and Patsy, a former beauty queen who doted on her children, fit the picture. Their home was well appointed, their daughter adored by local friends and pageant fans. JonBenét's pageant history put her on local TV. Her smile and costume photos circulated beyond Boulder. She was the city's child star. But the sparkling public image masked nothing. Sinister, or so everyone assumed, and it was that public visibility that would make the case national overnight. On Christmas night, a family party ended. The next morning, Patsy discovered a peculiar note on the stairs, a 3-page ransom letter demanding $118,000 and threatening harm if the family involved police. The amount matched a figure John had reportedly received as a year-end bonus, an odd, specific detail that would invite suspicion later. That morning, the family called 911 after not finding JonBenét in the house. A search of the home initially turned up nothing. Then, in the basement, behind a locked door, police found JonBenét's body. The discovery wrote a new, darker chapter in a case that would be dissected endlessly. From the very start, the investigation was chaotic. Police treated the Ramseys both as potential suspects and as grieving parents. From the scene, media cameras rolled, neighbors whispered, and tips flooded in. But the handling of evidence raised alarms. The house was not secured in the early hours, and some forensic opportunities were lost. DNA technology was not what it is today, but even then, there were missed procedural moments that would haunt the case. Suspicion turned toward the family quickly in some quarters. Commentators focused on the ransom note, which many found elaborate and staged. Others argued that an intruder could have entered the home. Hundreds of suspects were considered, including men arrested later for similar crimes, but none were definitively linked. The ransom note itself became almost a character. It was long, oddly specific, and written in blocky, misspelled handwriting that some experts called inconsistent with Patsy's known writing. Yet others argued the note's demands oddly matched the family's finances. A statistical coincidence or evidence of inside knowledge. Linguists and handwriting analysts weighed in, but their conclusions conflicted. Public opinion fractured. Some saw grieving parents under impossible scrutiny. Others saw evasive answers in the family's behavior, the insistence on cooperating while rejecting certain investigative steps, the mix of shock and composure that the cameras recorded. Over the years, theories multiplied: an intruder breaking in, a botched abduction, an attempt to stage a ransom to cover an accidental death, or even a family cover-up. Each new documentary, podcast, or TV special rehashed clues and favored different angles. New alleged suspects appeared, then faded as DNA testing and timelines refuted them. One turning point was the development of DNA testing techniques that eventually pointed to an unknown male profile not matching any family members. That discovery was widely reported as exculpatory for the Ramseys. Yet the sample's provenance and how it fit the crime scene evidence remained debated. The Ramseys were never charged. In 2008, the Boulder District Attorney issued a statement effectively clearing the family, citing DNA evidence that identified an unknown male. Still, in the public imagination, the case remained unresolved. Books were written, TV specials suggested new angles, and amateur sleuths combed court records and forum threads. Families of victims, investigators, and journalists sometimes clashed. Some reporters accused officials of bungling, others accused the media of turning a small family's nightmare into spectacle. The tabloids' appetite for sensational detail may have clouded public judgment more than any piece of evidence. JonBenét's death remains officially unsolved. Her mother, Patsy, died in 2006. John Ramsey continues to maintain his family's innocence. For many, the case is less about one answer and more about the lessons it taught, the cost of media intrusion, the consequences of early investigative missteps, and how public pressure can distort justice. We are left with a house frozen in time, a crown on a dresser, a note on a stair, and a national debate that refuses tidy closure. JonBenét's case reminds us that some stories don't end with verdicts or confessions. They end with questions we keep asking year after year.